This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Holder. It's Jeff Cutastrophe. Welcome you to the Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, February the 9th, is the legendary New York Met, who also played for the Toronto Blue Jays. You didn't know that? Yep. He only played for two teams in his major league career, the Mets and the Blue Jays. Anyway, he's famous for a moment that happened in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series. Well, to the average sports fan, you'll know exactly when I say Game 6, 1986 World Series, who it is. If he plays for the Mets and Blue Jays and didn't play for the Red Sox. It's the man who hit that ground ball to Bill Buckner, Mookie Wilson, who's now 67 years old. So he went to South Carolina State. Well, he was going to go to South Carolina State to play baseball, but it discontinued his baseball program just days after Wilson signed a letter of intent. So he had to go to Methodist College there. The Dodgers would sign him in the fourth round of the 1976 amateur draft, but he didn't sign. He would then head to the University of South Carolina. He wanted to better his draft stock by playing for Bobby Richardson at the University of South Carolina, and it worked. Wilson was part of the Gamecocks team that went to a national championship in Omaha, the 1977 College World Series. He was named to the all-tournament team as an outfielder, and in the second round of the 77 draft, he was picked by the Mets. So he would go to the International League and the Mets farm system and actually bat 284 with 184 RBIs. Okay, weird. Anyway, he was called up in September 1980 and was a fixture in center field. Wilson didn't look pretty good and all that. But when Joe Torre, who was the Mets manager, decided to put Lee's Masilli to left field so that Mookie could go to center field, Mookie somehow turned it around. Anyway, he hit only 3 home runs in the 1981 strike shortened season, but 2 of them were dramatic. In the 9th inning, he hit one off of Joe Zambito, and he took Bruce Sutter deep. The Mets were close to winning the second half of the season, but didn't do so well. Mookie would be basically the Mets' go-to leadoff guy in the 80s. He was the face of the organization. He became the all-time stolen base leader by 1984, beating Lee Masilli, which was, kind of sad. Mookie, unfortunately, would suffer a major injury when he had to go through arthroscopic surgery on his right shoulder. That injury in 85 was actually huge as the Mets faltered down the stretch and the Cardinals won the division. However, another major injury happened when during base running drills, Rafael Santana accidentally threw a baseball and shattered Mookie Wilson's sunglasses and almost ruined his eye. Wilson would need 21 stitches for his injuries. And he was more used in left field as Lenny Dykstra was the new center fielder / leadoff hitter and looking good. So he would be moved to left field. He did pretty well field percentage wise. Unfortunately, he wasn't perfect, but, he did okay. So anyway, Mookie would not do so well in the NLCS against the Astros. So, yeah. But he batted .273 in the World Series. Anyway, so, of course, Game 6 and all that. So, of course, Boston was up 5-3, headed to the bottom of the 10th. All they had to do was keep things going. Unfortunately, Kelvin Schiraldi faltered. After retiring Lloyd Backman and Keith Hernandez for 2 quick outs, he kept giving up singles to 3 batters, so Bob Stanley had to come in for Schiraldi. Wilson did very well, fouling off major pitches. He was down to his last strike many times. It was a 10-pitch at bat, and Mookie almost got hit by the wild pitch by Bob Stanley that skipped under Mookie and went to the backstop, tied the game. 2 pitches later, he had a slow roller to Bill Buckner at first. Because Mookie's speed was huge, Buckner hesitated and rushed the play. And the ball went through his legs into right field. Ray Knight scored the winning run and all that. Buckner would be massively blamed for that mistake. Well, in a sense, he will be too. But, I mean, Bob Stanley should be blamed too. I mean, the guy threw that wild pitch and all that. That kind of changed the events and all that too. But, yeah. But it's Wilson's speed that affected the course of the events. Because if Buckner had got Mookie Wilson out, they would have went to the 11th inning. And if Buckner made the play, but Wilson was safe, Howard Johnson would have had to come up to the plate with runners on first and third. If Hojo botched it, then they would have went to the 11th. Mookie did go 1-for-3 in Game 7 and won the World Series. There was some issues. The Mets acquired Kevin McReynolds to play left field, and there was a logjam because Mookie and Lenny Dykstra were not too pleased with the situation. Mookie thought he was gone, so he decided to be traded. But no, it didn't work. So he would platoon with Dykstra in center field. And he was not really doing that well and all that. However, in August of 88, he went on tear. For the last few months, he went at 385 with 5 home runs, 22 RBIs. The Mets looked pretty good. We're hoping to win the 88 NLCS, but sadly they lost in 7 games. Mookie only appeared 4 games and was 2 for 13. So anyway, Mookie was probably a free agent, but the Mets decided to pick up their option. But unfortunately for him, he struggled to start the 89 season. The Mets then picked up Juan Samuel from the Phillies in exchange for Roger McDowell and Lenny Dykstra, with the intention of Juan Samuel playing center field and being the leadoff hitter, which was shocking because I always thought Juan Samuel was the second baseman by proxy. So yeah, it was weird how the Mets traded Dykstra away. So anyway, the Blue Jays were in need for help. Junior Felix, who was this hotshot rookie, if you will, was off to a great start as a rookie for the 89 Blue Jays. I mean, the guy almost single-handedly tore apart the Red Sox in that famous 4-game series in 1989, in June of 89. That's how the Jays sweep the Red Sox. You know, the inside the park grand slam by Mookie Wilson, and then, I mean, not by Junior Felix. But Felix unfortunately separated his shoulder in a collision with a wall at Yankee Stadium. So the Jays needed some outfield help. So the Jays got Lee Maselli off waivers from the Mets. They also picked up Mookie from the Mets for Jeff Musselman and Mike Brady. It worked out perfectly for the Blue Jays. Because Mookie came alive when the Blue Jays were in Boston for a series, and this was the first time Mookie was at Fenway Park since the 86 World Series. In that 3-game sweep for the Jays, Mookie went 9 for 14 with 4 runs scored. He was pretty much a spark plug and all that. Mookie Wilson came up to the plate in the bottom of the 8th when the Jays were playing the Orioles in what would be their division clinching game. Singled homer run and then came around to score the winning run. Mookie went 2 for 4 in his appearance in Game 3. But he would sign a 2-year deal to stay on as their starting center field. In 1990, he logged 629 plate appearances. Still stole 23 bases, though. Unfortunately, he would lose the center field job to Devon White in 1991, which was actually a good move because Devo was a great player. And then he would be part of a revolving door of left fielders and all that. The Jays won the division and went to the ALCS. Mookie played in 3 of the ALCS games, but only went 2 for 8 with a walk. Boston nearly went with Mookie, although it was kind of awkward because, you know, Mookie kind of did do the Buckner move. Anyway, the option was not picked up on his contract. So Boston went with Herm Winningham. Really? So he decided to retire. So in his career, he played 12 years, 67 home runs, 438 RBIs, but 327 stolen bases, and a 274 average. 25 postseason games, he only batted 207, close to the Mendoza line. Anyway, you know. Anyway, Mookie Wilson actually married Preston Wilson's mother, making him both Preston's stepfather and uncle, which was weird. All that. He actually is an ordained Baptist minister in 2014. That's pretty cool. All that. So yeah, Mookie Wilson's an ordained minister. Nice. So yeah, you know, Boston fans will curse the name Mookie Wilson. Met fans will love the name Mookie Wilson. Blue Jay fans will be like, yeah, he was good in 89 and 90 and 91. Yeah, good thing we had him. Anyway, I'm jumped down and I do.